Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, bad news about a queer cruise. First though, for the 27th year, Madrid's annual high heel race has taken place to celebrate Pride. Always mainly men who compete on the cobbled streets of Chueca, a queer-friendly part of the Spanish capital. They have to race in heels of 10 to 15 centimetres, picking up a purse and a dress, and putting on lipstick as they run. Plus, they've got to change clothes and accessorise at halfway. Winner Oscar's been speaking to Europa Press.
What a performance! What a performance! I did prepare, but I like wearing heels and I work out. So let's say I've been at it for a month. But honestly, the real talent is among us runners, and the crowd is amazing too.
Oscar's won himself €350 and probably a bad back.
Pride Daily.
Now then, just flagging up, this next story contains a graphic reference. Plans to overhaul outdated sex crime laws in Hong Kong would see distinctions based on gender and sexuality removed. Amongst other things, the definition of rape would be broadened beyond just a man forcing his penis into a woman's vagina, so that'd help with prosecutions of same-sex incidents. The government also wants to standardise the age of consent at 16. It's hoped this could all be sorted by next June.
Pride Daily.
And an LGBTQ+ cruise is being stopped from docking in Turkey, cause morals. The Scarlet Lady, with nearly 2,000 passengers on board, was due to visit Kuşadası on the west coast tomorrow, then carry on to Istanbul, part of an Athens to Venice trip. Authorities claim the ship's been chartered by groups known for behaviours incompatible with the fabric of Turkish society and the country's moral values.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, why the sharks have been circling an anti-trans demo. First though, radical right-wing opinion channel GB News seems to have a new hobby. Platforming claims gay men are paedophiles. A so-called Christian commentator known as Based and Bougie, with links to the far-right extremist Stephen Yaxley-Lennon, aka Tommy Robinson, has been spewing this old trope. Part of a discussion about the abuse and murder of a baby by his gay adopted dad, and she attempts to exploit this to smear other gay men.
There is no denying, and I can't pull up the evidence now, but people can easily research this, that gay men and gay couples are more prone to not only just domestic abuse amongst each other, but child sexual assault with their adopted children. So we have to get to a point...
Where's the evidence for this?
I said I don't have the evidence with me now.
So it's just... Okay.
Now, I've seen it, and hopefully when I go online after this, I will post it.
It took her days to provide links to research that's been completely discredited.
The statistics are out there. They've been proven time and time again that gay men are more prone to more sexual deviancy. Now, I'm not saying this is the case for all men, but the statistics are out there.
Proven time and time again, she reckons, but can't back that up. Based and Bougie's also anti-trans, promotes climate change denial and says women shouldn't be in politics, so that's what we're dealing with. GB News has also been blessed with the bigoted insight of anti-LGBTQ+ Catholic journalist, religion again, Caroline Farrow, talking about Pride events.
It has become about celebrating every single sexuality that isn't heterosexuality, including some very bizarre and unhealthy kinks and quirks, like furries and bestiality and even minor attracted, they call themselves minor attracted people, paedophiles.
Farrow's previously compared the hanging of the Pride flag to the Third Reich and labelled gay penguins as deviant, so that's what we're dealing with. Thousands of complaints about GB News have been made to Ofcom, the UK's communications regulator.
Pride Daily.
Next, a mural in Italy dedicated to renowned gay poet and director Pier Paolo Pasolini has been vandalised with homophobic graffiti. The insult that rhymes with maggot and a reference to paedophilia has been spray-painted right across the artwork on the wall of a train station in Rome. Authorities say it's a cowardly act and are working with the original artist to restore the mural.
Pride Daily.
And less than 100 bedwetters have turned out for an anti-transgender demo in Melbourne, Australia. Plus, to make it even sweeter, they were outnumbered by a counter-protest against transphobia that attracted more than 300 trans people and allies. Some were waving blowhighs, a toy shark from IKEA that's become a queer icon because its colours match the transgender flag.
Queer Family Podcast.
If you've ever felt like your family didn't fit the traditional mold, this show is for you. I'm Jamie, host of the Queer Family Podcast. And every week we highlight LGBTQIA+ families and the beautiful, unique ways we build and show up for our families in a world that wasn't designed for us. We celebrate, highlight, uplift, and normalize queer families because our stories deserve center stage. New episodes every Monday. Listen wherever you get your pods.
Love is love on the Queer Family Podcast. Love is love.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, the twisted teacher who's been struck off. First though, a transgender student says she feels validated by the response to her end of high school speech. Evelyn Gallagher addressed classmates, teachers, family and friends at Kempsville High in Virginia in America, having been named the salutatorian, someone who gets the second highest grades in a graduating class. She told the audience her school experience was defined in part by being out as a young trans woman.
This decision to be there for myself made it possible for me to be fully present in my own life and in other people's lives. To do my best, I had to be my best, even if it wasn't always easy. And I am proud to announce that I am the first transgender salutatorian at Kempsville High School.
Thanks to VB Schools and also WHRO. 18-year-old Evelyn knew she was transgender from around the age of 12 and was supported by a family when she told them. Says the applause and cheers gave her trans joy and she couldn't have asked for a better ending to high school.
Pride Daily.
Next, a cancer patient in a wheelchair has been attacked with eggs at a pride march in Germany. Happened at the Christopher Street Day Parade in Chemnitz in the east of the country. It's thought Stefan Fuchs from Berlin was hit by eggs thrown from a nearby apartment. Police say they're investigating.
Pride Daily.
And a teacher who told his pupils gay and transgender people are mentally ill has been struck off. William Garwood made the comment at a school in West Yorkshire in the UK just under 3 years ago and also called Ukrainians Nazis, in for a penny, in for a pound. The 60-year-old told a misconduct panel he's entitled to his beliefs. They told him he's now entitled to be unemployed. No time to tell you that after far-right Australian politician Pauline Hanson referenced the non-existent transgender insurgency in a speech. The phrase is being weaponised against her for merch. It's now on T-shirts, raising cash for a trans support rally in Queensland this weekend.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, a non-military threat. First though, and in case you've been wondering, there are no transgender or gay Christians. America's biggest Protestant church, the Southern Baptists, offering this somewhat unsurprising clarification, as they've always been vehemently anti-LGBTQ+. But it's given their research director, Rashawn Frost, the chance to make a little video and spell it out for us.
The short answer to the question of whether or not it's okay to identify as a transgender Christian or a gay Christian is no. We do not categorize our identities as Christians with sinful activity.
Rashawn, or Rash, can I call you Rash, my love? He says there is still hope for acceptance into his little prejudice party.
There is a distinction between saying, I am a Christian who suffers from gender dysphoria or same-sex attraction, and I am a Christian who identifies as transgender or gay. For the Christian who struggles and yet is faithfully seeking to obey Christ, there should be a recognition that this ongoing work of sanctification will instead be characterized by an ongoing life of repentance.
That sounds like a fun life. Basically, if you're trans or gay, just pretend you're not, then you can be a Christian. Other Baptist churches in the US say this is a load of old rubbish, slightly paraphrasing, that distorts the Bible.
Pride Daily.
Next, more religion. You're welcome. Conversion therapy is going to be promoted at a Church of England meeting of its governing body. Good God. A 5-day gathering of the General Synod kicks off tomorrow in York, and as part of it, there's an event called People Change, Sexual Identity Transformation. The Archbishops of Canterbury and York, the church's number 1 and number 2, had threatened to ban this, but U-turned. Speakers will include Christians who reckon they've been cured of gay. Conversion therapy is when an abuser attempts to change a person's sexuality or gender identity.
Pride Daily.
An LGBTQ+ culture has been designated a non-military threat by the President of Indonesia. Well, you say that, but, we may have munitions. This was signed off as part of a national defence policy last October, but went under the radar. Means queer culture is now on a par with terrorism in law, and to help stop the spread of such wanton deviance, there's plans for anti-queer lessons in schools.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, SpongeBob SquarePants is de-gayed by Russia. First though, a far-right bedwetter has been charged with vandalising a rainbow road crossing in Canada. Amrit Birings, leader of the Freedom Party of British Columbia, and captioned a video of the performative incident, "Save your children from paedophilia." What is it they say? Every accusation is a confession. Just after he finished with the black spray paint, he said we need to stand up for the kids. Otherwise,
your children will turn into lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, transgender, queer. Your daughter will marry another girl. It's up to you to stop it.
I'm not sure Amrit's had his medication. The 58-year-old and another man have been charged with mischief over $5,000. He's due in court on July 28th.
Pride Daily.
To Ukraine next, and a woman's lost a job at a beauty salon after wiping her feet on a rainbow flag at Kyiv Pride. Yuliana Kaznady says her views on the institution of family diverge radically from those of queer people, and she has a right to them. Unfortunately for her, the owners of that salon have a right to fire performative bigots, and they've exercised it.
Pride Daily.
And Russia's trying a new way to stop people being queer, taking the rainbows out of SpongeBob SquarePants. One's been replaced by a big yellow blob in a recent broadcast of the cartoon on TV there. Lots of commenters on socials wondering how authorities are going to deal with actual rainbows. One asks, will they just forbid the rain? Deep. As we've mentioned many times previously, Russia's got a ridiculous LGBT propaganda law and designated the non-existent international LGBT movement as extremist. And a fun fact, in France, the show's known as Bob l'Éponge. Bob l'Éponge! No time to tell you that. An LGBTQ+ cruise ship stopped from docking in Turkey because of homophobia has now also been knocked back by Egypt. Authorities haven't given a reason, but we know the reason. There's a push in Guatemala to get same-sex marriage legalised. And this year's Dublin Trans and Intersex Pride is on Sunday. There's more on our socials, at Pride Daily Pod, including any breaking news. That's your lot. I'll see you next week.